So, you're making a Discord server, and all is going well, until you realise you need a server logo. And if you don't have any graphic design skills, it could be a problem. But fear not, because we've all been there, and I'm going to show you how to make one in this video. So I'm going to be jumping into Photoshop today. You don't need this if you don't have Photoshop. You can use an online website called Photopea. A lot of people recommend it if you do not have Photoshop. As far as I'm aware, it works quite similarly. Alright, let's begin. First, let's go to File, New. This is very important. Make sure you change this inches box here to pixels. Otherwise, basically you'll be making a massive document of like tens of thousands of pixels, which your computer will not like. So let's change the width to 1920 and the height to 1920. It doesn't need to be this, it could be whatever you want. Just make sure these are the same so we have a square picture, and change the resolution to 72 pixels per inch. Background contents. I'm not going to worry about this now, I'm just going to leave it as it is. Color profile, just use this one here. I don't know much about this. If you want your logo to look the same as mine, this should be your best bet. And let's click create. Alright, so here we are. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click this lock icon over here. That will unlock the layer so I can edit it, specifically so I can change the background color. But we don't actually need to worry about this too much right now, so I'm just going to set it to black for now. So just select black as foreground color, and left click this gradient icon over here, hold it down and click the paint bucket tool, and then click anywhere. Just for organization purposes, I'm just going to call this background. Alright, so next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this icon over here, hold it down and click the ellipse tool. Now I'm going to double click anywhere, and I'm going to set this to 1920 by 1920 because that's what we set the document size to, and click OK. And it will make this ellipse here. Just so you can see what it is, I'm going to change the color to something you can actually see. Now I'm going to select the move tool, press V, and I'm going to show transform controls because I like to have it that way. Just press Ctrl T and just drag this to the middle. If you find it hard to find the middle, just press Ctrl A and click this icon up here. Make sure you have the move tool selected, and this one here, that will center it to the middle. Now let's go over to the ellipse and hold Ctrl and click the thumbnail. Now I'm just going to turn that layer off, and I'm going to click the background layer and go down to this group icon down here and press that, and that will just make this into a group right here, which will matter later because what we're going to want to do is keep this selection selected, hopefully you see it on the video, and click this layer mask icon down here, and there we go. Now do not delete this ellipse over here, we want to keep that for now. I'm just going to rename the group logo, doesn't matter what you call it. Now let's go to the background layer, left click this, right click it and click blending options. Head down to gradient overlay. What we're going to want to do is change the gradient. So left click this box here and double left click this stop over here, and I'm going to set this to a dark grey, but I'm going to give this a slight blue tint, just something like that. We can edit this later, that's a good thing about this. I'm going to set this to 0D, 0D, 0F. Okay, and I'm going to do the same for the other one, but I'm just going to make it a tiny bit brighter, and that will give us a nice gradient. It might not show up that well on the video, particularly if you're in a light room right now, and you probably can't see it, but there's a bunch of lines blending all this together. I'm going to click dither to get rid of those, just so it's a smoother gradient, and I'm going to keep everything else as it is. Just copy these settings. Now I'm actually going to reverse these colors because I prefer it like this, so just click reverse there. So that's it for now, so click OK, and I'm just going to minimize these effects over here. Alright, so we're going to go back to the ellipse now, so we can enable that again. Left click it and press U. We'll select the shapes tool over here, and I'm actually going to turn the fill off, so just click the fill and click this strike through thing here, and that will turn it off. What we're going to actually do is have a stroke. I should probably word that differently. We're going to add a stroke to this ellipse here, so for now I'm just going to set that to white. You can't see it yet, but if I increase that, now you can. Now I'm actually going to change this here, so I'm going to change the alignment to inside. That way when I increase the stroke it will only go inwards, and I don't know what to set this to yet. We'll be able to tell when we add the text. So for now I'm just going to set that to about 225. Alright, now what we're going to do is we're going to put everything in the group. So we haven't actually put anything in the group yet, so let's drag the background in there. As you can see, that will basically get rid of everything outside of the ellipse. And I'm going to put the ellipse in there as well. I mean, that doesn't really matter because it's already within the mask anyway. Just keep it organised. And I'm going to rename this ellipse layer to outer stroke. Now I realise I should probably make this a bit larger, so I'm just going to do that right there. Alright, I just realised I can't really see the background. I don't know if it's because it's the middle of the day right now, but I'm going to go back into here. Just double left click that, or right click blending options, and change gradient overlay. I'm going to make this grey here a bit brighter. And I've realised I forgot to make it a bit blue, so I'm going to do that right there. And there we go, I can notice that much more clearly now. I like that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to change the outer stroke, we're going to add some colour to it. Obviously this could be whatever colour you want, just put this as your favourite colour. Doesn't matter, I'm just going to do a light blue, something like that. And if we click OK, then we can see the changes. And I like that already, but I think I'm going to decrease the stroke just a bit. And by the way, if you're wondering why we're putting this inside this mask here, instead of just having it take up the whole thing, basically I think it looks better when you hover over the icon on Discord, when you hover over the server, or you just are in the server. It looks a bit nicer, because it doesn't do any weird masking stuff. So now I'm going to click the background layer and I'm going to add some text. So click the text tool over here, make sure it's horizontal, and I'm going to click anywhere and type my text. So hang on, what did I actually call my server? Miura Valley. I just had to come up with a name for this video, so I just used my server making assets pack. I used my thesaurus in there. I love plugging that, but seriously, I do that every time I make a fictional server for these videos. It's basically just a collection of words that you can use to make your roles or your server names, and genuinely I do. Anyway, so I'm going to minimize that. So Miura Valley. So I'm going to type MV. Now I actually cannot see anything, so I'm going to change the text to white. Now that hasn't really helped, has it? So I'm actually going to increase the size. There we go. Now before we center this to the middle, I'm going to change the font. I'm just going to use this font that I've really liked using recently, actually for quite a while now. It's a font by GitHub called Mona Sans. So I'm going to set it to that right there. I like that. Now text is a bit big, so I'm just going to decrease the size up here. Pretty nice. Okay, now let's center this to the middle. So hit Control A. Make sure you've got the move tool selected. Click this middle icon here and this middle one here. That will center it all to the middle. See, now that I've added the text, I can tell the stroke is a bit too much, so I'm going to press U and decrease this a bit. So 144. Now there's a couple things we could do here to add some effects. First I'm going to go to the text, double click this, and I'm going to add an outer glow. I'm going to set this to white, blend mode normal because I find that just works best, and increase the size. Now I don't like that at the moment, so I'm going to increase the opacity, or decrease I should say, down to something like that. I think that just adds a nice touch. You probably can't notice a lot of this in the form of the server icon, but I don't care. I'm going to have it anyway, so I'm going to click OK. Now next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a nice glow around this outer stroke. This is one of my favourite things from this logo we're going to do. So I'm going to press Ctrl J, that will duplicate it, and I'm going to name this to outer stroke glow. And I'm going to put this below. Just as a reminder, make sure you put everything right here inside this group because it has a mask. Anyway, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Filter, Blur, and Gaussian Blur. Let's select Convert to Smart Object. So radius, I'm going to increase this all the way up. And as you can see, this will add a really nice blue glow around everything. I'm just going to set this to a round number of 150 and click OK. So looking really nice already. There's some other stuff we could do to it, but I'm not going to overcomplicate it for this video. I'm sure you'll agree, it already looks quite nice. So I'd say I'm done here. Now before we save this, I'm just going to mention that the way we made this logo, a lot of it is non-destructive. So basically what that means is if we double click this thumbnail over here, we can go back and edit this at any point if we want to do that. This is the glow layer here, but obviously without the effects. So we can just change the colour to anything we want, and make sure you save that when you're done that because it's open a separate document. Save it so it reflects in here, and we can change the blur to anything we want. Anyway, so I'm going to go to File, Save As. I'm going to save this to this folder here. I'm going to call this Logo. Now we're going to save this as a Photoshop document for now, just so we can come back and change this document anytime we want. Click Save. And now let's actually save this as a picture, so we can upload it to Discord. So let's go to File, Save As. Now if I try and change the file type to PNG, it's not here. It probably is for you, but for my Photoshop what I'm going to do is click Save a Copy. And when I click here, that will give me all these options. Let's save this as PNG and click Save. Now let's actually upload this. Now, I can already tell I want to decrease the stroke here just a bit. I'm going to set this to about 115 again. Now let's upload that, and I think that's just a bit nicer. Save changes, and let's go out the menu, and here it is. Maybe I didn't want to decrease that.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
So, what do you think? I think that looks really good. But before I finish this video, I'm going to show you how to do something a little extra. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to add even more colour to this. Let's go up to the stroke up here and click this gradient icon over here. That will turn the stroke into a gradient. I'm just going to add 4 points, somewhat equal distances apart. And I'm going to change the type to angle. There we go. So I'm just going to set this to a bunch of different colours right here. Because I've recorded this video a lot before, I know how hard it is to actually get colours that work together, so bear with me here. Now I don't think these are colours I'm going to settle on. All I know is what we're going to do is instead of changing the last colour to anything we want, so if we do that, as you can see it's got a very jarring transition there. So all we're going to do is double left click this one over here and copy this value right here. And paste that in this one over here, and that will get rid of that. I think that works right there, but you get the gist. Now we're going to want to also have this colour for the glow. So all we're going to do is go over here, the settings icon, copy stroke, and double left click this over here. And go to the stroke up here, click the cog icon and paste the stroke. And there we go. Obviously nothing has changed yet. So we're going to want to save this. And if we go back in, the colours have changed. And in all my attempts of this video, that is actually the best one I've got so far. So there we go. Let's just save this as a separate one for now. So we call this logo 2. And remember to save that as a PNG before you quit out of this. Now let's upload this. So server settings, change icon, and there we go. Take your time, Discord. Alright, thank you. There we go. Really nice. I really like how that looks. So, now you've got a good looking logo to finish off your server. But if you need some more help in setting up your channels, watch this video right here to make the best looking channels possible. But before you do that, check out my high quality collection of all the emojis, role icons and headers you will ever need to make a breathtaking server at aeno.gumroad.com/al/assets. Oh yeah, there's a free option too.